I'm Stuart McIntosh with the BBC News. Hello. The US government has given a federal prosecutor extra powers to investigate President Biden's son Hunter. David Weiss has been made a special counsel, which gives him more independence. He's been overseeing an inquiry into Hunter Biden's business dealings since his appointment by the then President Trump in 2018. Last month, a plea bargain agreement he negotiated fell apart. Our North America correspondent Nomia Iqbal says this may lead to serious consequences for Hunter Biden.
The Attorney General had previously dismissed any suggestions that he might appoint a special counsel. David Weiss himself had also said that. I think there are questions being asked, in terms of David Weiss's investigation, which has been going on for a few years. Were the charges that he brought against Hunter Biden too narrow? And so there are questions now, will David Weiss expand his investigation, which he will, but will there be more serious charges facing Hunter Biden?
Officials in Hawaii are beginning to allow people to return to the town of Lahaina, which has been almost entirely destroyed by wildfires. Only those with proof of residency or a hotel reservation will be permitted entry. At least 55 people are known to have died on the island of Maui, and many more remain missing. The governor of Hawaii, Josh Green, warned that the number of dead could increase.
We know that many people are suffering. The fatality numbers will climb somewhat today. Everyone, love your neighbors, support them, because this is devastating for Maui. We probably have well over 1,000 buildings that have been destroyed. Many hundreds of families have been displaced. We'll rebuild. The president has already, just in 6 hours, authorized and approved our request for emergency support, but it's going to be a long haul.
A judge in New York has revoked the bail of Sam Bankman-Fried, the former boss of the collapsed cryptocurrency exchange FTX. The court heard that he'd tampered with witnesses, potentially prejudicing the case. Mr. Bankman-Fried faces numerous charges linked to the alleged theft of billions of dollars from FTX to cover losses at another part of his business empire. He has pleaded not guilty. The United Nations says 5 of its security staff who were kidnapped in Yemen 18 months ago have been freed. Yemen has been devastated by civil war since 2014, though much of the fighting has recently subsided. The UN resident and humanitarian coordinator for Yemen, David Gresley, said the release of the 5 staff was great news.
I'm pleased to report that they are unharmed, in good health and good spirits. I had a chance to speak with them, obviously, on the way back. I'm very much impressed by not only their good spirits, but the strength that they have exhibited under extraordinary circumstances.
World News from the BBC. Federal police agents in Brazil have searched the homes of 4 people linked to the former President Jair Bolsonaro as part of an investigation into embezzlement and money laundering allegations. Police say Mr. Bolsonaro took at least $1 million in official gifts given by the leaders of other countries during his term in office, including expensive jewellery and sculptures. The Armenian government has said that aid deliveries to Armenian majority areas in the disputed territory of Nagorno-Karabakh are still being blocked by Azerbaijan. Armenia's Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan said that lorries carrying basic food supplies had been prevented from entering the region. There's been no response from the Azerbaijani side. The Islamic State group has claimed responsibility for an attack on a military bus in eastern Syria that killed at least 23 government troops and wounded 10 more. The assailants surrounded the bus in Deir ez-Zor province before opening fire. The attack would be the 3rd by the group in the last week. Dozens of asylum seekers in southern England have left a barge where they are being housed after Legionella bacteria was detected in the vessel's water supply. The British government said it was a precautionary measure, but the main opposition Labour Party called it part of a catalogue of catastrophe. Our political correspondent Ione Wells says there could be further questions for the UK government.
Potentially, I think, big questions for ministers about this, because it could well be that there are quite some days that people were on board while this was an issue. There are some ministerial meetings going on, being chaired by the Immigration Minister, Robert Jenrick, but I think that's certainly a question that ministers are going to be facing in the coming days about how long people were allowed to stay on board with the knowledge that this bacteria was present.
Rights groups say housing people on the vessel is unbelievably cruel and that many had suffered torture and trauma at sea. BBC News.